Tonight, calls for a deadly intersection to receive another overhaul with fears it'll claim more lives, and a dedicated volunteer paramedic rewarded for his efforts.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. There are calls for urgent upgrades to an intersection in the mid-north that's being labelled as a death trap. Despite already being remodelled, George's Corner is still causing concerns for motorists.
George's Corner's under the spotlight again, and for all the wrong reasons. Locals say accidents and near misses are common on this dangerous intersection, despite the former state government upgrading the road in 2016 following a double fatality.
I've tried for years to get the speed limit dropped down to 80 from north of the Tin Man to south of the caravan park after the tragedy we had several years ago when a friend of ours lost both parents in a crash.
Attempting to cross George's Corner is a worry for many motorists.
You're starting off at zero, these cars are going through at 100k, they close up on you pretty quick, so it's always been a worry every time I cross it.
Local member Jeff Brock is calling for the government to consider this intersection as a high priority, saying the upgrade is already on the new Minister for Transport and Infrastructure, Stephen Knowles' radar.
I've got the letter down to him, reassuring him and reminding him it was a high priority if a Liberal government was elected.
It's hoped high-tech signs will be installed along Highway 1, notifying oncoming motorists to reduce their speed when approaching the notorious intersection.
Is to actually activate some illuminated speed lights or speed lights on the highway itself and bring them back from 100 k's an hour to 80 k's an hour.
Former Liberal candidate for Frome has also shown her support for a road safety upgrade.
We'll help in any way I can to get a better outcome for people.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
With school holidays just around the corner, local businesses are expecting to reap the benefits. In Port Augusta, operators are ramping up supplies ahead of the influx of customers.
It may not seem like it for now, but for the next 2 weeks this foyer will be flooded with parents and children. The Port Augusta Cinema is ramping up preparations for the school holidays as it readies to open its doors for an influx of moviegoers.
The school holiday is the best time of the year for us. I mean, as a cinema, it gives people the opportunity to come out and bring their kids somewhere to see movies.
Owner Michelle Coles is expecting a 150% increase and says her business relies heavily on the large arrival of holidaymakers.
While the local people are great and support us, without the influx of people coming from out of town, no way would we survive.
She's not alone. Other businesses are hoping to capitalise on the tourism dollar.
They might go out for lunch, they might go down and do some shopping down the street, so it increases business, twofold everywhere.
Cafes are also prepared for an increase in customers, ordering extra food and drink, as well as employing extra staff.
Saturdays are definitely busy for us with the train season, and that kicks off school holidays as well.
Mary McKenzie says ample parking helps haul in people movers.
Because we have such great parking space here, we do get a lot of people with vans and camper vans as well, and families.
They're just hopeful people stop in on their way through.
Don't just go through Port Augusta, check the town out and see what we have to offer.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Police and the MFS are investigating a house fire in Whyalla. Crews were called to the vacant home on McNamara Street just before 9 last night. It took 8 firefighters just over an hour to extinguish the blaze. Damage to the property is estimated at around $200,000. Fire investigators are working to determine a cause. The house was the scene of a murder nearly a year ago when a 23-year-old man was arrested and charged over the death of a 35-year-old man. A mining company with interests in gold says it's completed a 2-hole drilling program at a site near Broken Hill. Hvala Resources says a successful dig at the North Portia mine site has the company excited at the possibility of going for gold.
It's one of the most sought-after commodities, and the Silver City could soon be looking at gold.
North Portia is still in the feasibility stage, so we've done all the drilling.
Hvala Resources says it's been hard at work conducting a study into its North Portia site, 300 metres north from the Portia gold mine. In a partnership with Consolidated Mining and Civil, the 2-hole drilling program aims to collect vital samples for analysis.
Portia is just gold, but North Portia is actually copper gold, so the metallurgy and recovery of the copper and the gold is a bit more complicated.
The results will form the basis for a possible upgrade to the existing Portia processing plant to treat the copper and gold from the North Portia deposit. Those results are expected to come through by the end of June.
They have an exclusive option until the 30th of June to decide whether they want to proceed and develop the North Portia copper gold deposit. So obviously they want the metallurgical results. They want to be certain about it first, so we're working towards that schedule.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
In the news ahead, Broken Hill residents set to take a trip back in time as organisers prepare the town's Heritage Festival. That's next. A volunteer paramedic from the Mid-North has been recognised for his tireless service. The ambulance service says Clive Fordham's dedication has helped keep the community safe for decades.
Surrounded by family and friends, Clive Fordham receives recognition for his instrumental role in the Upper Mid-North. He's been volunteering with SA Ambulance for nearly 42 years, spending the last 8 in Gladstone.
Clive is on the Australia Day Honours list. He received an Ambulance Service Medal, ASM. So last Thursday he was at Government House where he received the medal from the Governor.
I was quite chuffed to get it, especially to be nominated by your peers.
His dedication and compassion is highly valued and respected within the team, committing many hours to the weekly roster.
Thousands of hours on the roster as a volunteer. He's integral to the team and integral to the community, providing such an important service to the community.
I've done a lot of ambulance work, nearly rostered on every day.
Improving response times at Gladstone, he is now the volunteer team leader and continues to have the roster manned 24/7.
Having someone as dedicated as Clive to set the example and to bring new recruits into the community is immensely important.
Wearing his medal with pride, Clive says helping save the lives of those living in remote areas is extremely rewarding.
Recognised in the street and someone saying thanks, for doing what you did. And I mean, you do see a lot of, dreadful things, but you also see a lot of happy things.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
3 winemakers from the Clare Valley have been recognised as some of the best in the country. Damon Kerner from Kerner Wines, Stephen Baraglia from Naked Rhine Wines and Pike Wines, as well as John Hughes from Riesling Freak have all been named in the 2018 Young Gun of Wine Top 50 Winemakers. They'll travel to Melbourne in May to take part in the Young Gun event, alongside 16 other winemakers from across the state. Charities in Whyalla have the chance to grab some easy cash with the YTAP charity ball looming. Organisers say the support could go a long way to deliver programs and support the local community.
The Young Tradesmen and Professionals Charity Ball has raised thousands of dollars over the past few years, delivering support to worthy recipients. It's back again this year, with the organising committee now searching for this year's beneficiary.
Local causes, community groups or local charities to apply just to put their expression of interest forward to be the recipient of the proceeds.
Previously, funds have supported mental health causes like suicide prevention and ice addiction. In 2017, the charity partner was Defaces, which used the funds to upgrade equipment for a number of its programs.
For us, it's all about trying to give back to Whyalla, so we are looking for someone in particular who is going to benefit the Whyalla community.
Applications should include an outline of the project and how it'll make Whyalla a better place to live and work. And then it's up to the crowd on the night to be generous and support whatever worthy initiative is selected.
We don't get any of the profits from the night. It all goes to the charity, local community group or cause that we select as the recipient of those funds.
Applications close May 9. To enter, head to our Facebook page. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill is getting ready to look back on its history ahead of the inaugural Heritage Festival. Organisers say there'll be plenty to see and do across the 2-week event.
A city's past in the present.
opportunity for you to participate in Australia's first heritage city.
The Broken Hill Heritage Festival will launch next Wednesday to coincide with the National Trust's nationwide festival. The event will celebrate Broken Hill's status as Australia's only heritage-listed city and will have themes every year to showcase why the city earned the honour.
And this is one of the categories of why we actually was awarded Australia's first heritage city. It was the category around the architecture and how important it was to our city.
Tours, exhibitions, displays and more will be on show over the next 2 weeks.
Every day there's something to do and most of them are free. So if you've got visitors to town or you're thinking what to do with the kids over the school activities, then come on down.
The festival will kick off with a unique photographic presentation behind the Town Hall facade. A variety of images will be projected onto the back of the iconic structure on Argent Street after sunset.
Everybody's volunteering, and so it's the goodwill of the Broken Hill people that's making this festival happen. It's brought it all together. It's people that are capturing stories and people who are actually putting in front of you, be able to walk down Argent Street, look in the windows, and there'll be a little history about the building itself. So there's lots on.
The Heritage Festival closes on May 4. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
After the break, the heart-stopping show thrilling Hvala residents. We go behind the scenes next. A photo from the Port Augusta Gardening Club has been selected to be on the front cover of this year's local phone book. The yellow and white pages will soon adorn the work of the community group, which is thrilled to have been selected.
This was the moment Ellen Eckberg saw what her winning photo would look like on the cover of the local white and yellow pages.
Well, I feel very proud to be nominated, and no, I'm excited about it.
The books will start turning up on the doorsteps of residents from Port Pirie to Whyalla at the end of next week.
The garden layout was good, I think, for this area. The native plants and all that helped a bit, I think.
This year, the pages wanted to shine a light on Australia's love for gardening and invited the Port Augusta Gardening Club to submit an entry for their local area. The Gardening Club chose life member Ellen as the perfect face to represent them.
Ellen really stood out for us, firstly because of her affiliation with the Port Augusta Gardening Club.
Judges say it was the great work of the local gardening club that made the entry hard to argue against.
It's been going for 40 years. It has been, fabulous in involving the community and providing a fabulous place for them to visit.
With around 30 members, the gardening club comes together to discuss life's thorns and petals, and of course share tips and tricks of growing a garden in this arid land.
We all talk about our gardens and what we've got, and we swap pieces.
It's brought us a lot of friendships over the time. And we meet once a month, which is great, and we exchange all ideas and that, and it's a great companionship.
And it seems this club's love for gardening is as young as ever.
So relaxing, and you can start with nothing and you can end up with so much.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla is set to see the laws of gravity being broken on stage at the Middleback Theatre this weekend. Acrobatic circus group Gravity and Other Myths is bringing its backbone performance to the city, using their bodies to create heart-stopping performances.
Don't try this at home, kids. Gravity and Other Myths is in final rehearsals ahead of its show in Whyalla this Saturday night. The troupe is performing its critically acclaimed show Backbone, which pushes human ability to the limit.
We stand on each other, we throw each other around, we do a whole bunch of amazing routines and shapes and images just using our bodies.
The show focuses on human strength, agility and balance, forming shapes up to 5 meters high. One trick sees one of its performers dangling in mid-air, being held by the hands of fellow performers. Jasha Boyce is one of those high flyers, but says after 9 years of performing, she's right at home in the air.
We've been doing it for such a long time and have built up over many, many years, so it feels like quite a comfortable thing for me to be up in the air and standing on people's heads.
The group has also visited local schools to show its skills and hopefully inspire the next generation of performers.
I've been to Whyalla before and taught some workshops, so it's nice to be back and see some of the old places I taught.
And if you're going, expect the unexpected.
It's kind of a little bit of everything. There's really intricate movement and incredible acrobatics.
Tickets are on sale through Country Arts SA. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
To some local sport now, and the Port Pirie Districts Hockey Association kicked off its season this week. In the men's Division 1 fixture, St Andrews managed to win a very tight game against York Peninsula 4-3. The other game saw Risdon having no problem beating PRP. In the ladies, St Andrews also got a 1-0 win over Mid-North Cruisers, and Risdon was again far too strong for PRP, winning 4-0. And if you want your sports results on Southern Cross News, send them through to localsport@sca.com.au. Time now for fishing tips.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips from Port Pirie. As we said last week, there's plenty of snook out there to be had, so don't forget to have a good crack at them. They're a nice size. Now the squid that we've got coming in this early part of the season are going for the little green glittery squid jags. If you've got a green or an orange in your toolkit, should do the job perfectly. So just wander around a little bit further deeper than the Third Creek patches and you should find your lot. Blue swimmer crabs are still around the place, so keep those crab nets over having a crack. And yellowfin, believe it or not, we've still got them, and garfish are starting to come in. So it's a perfect time to go fishing. It's in that crossover of the season, but just work the beaches from Talawi through to Barrows Beach and you should do all right.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel North. Well, crazy weather at the moment, up around that 38 degrees, so not quite sure what that's going to do with the fishing. Crabs are still here, and with that hot weather, you'd assume they'd stay on for a bit longer. There are some squid starting to show up along the shacks there. Some big kingfish floating around up around Port Patterson and also down in Chinaman's Creek. Some salmon around in the Chinaman's Creek area as well. And there are a few King George whitings starting to show up in a little bit bigger numbers. That's all we have from the Jewel North. Now it's over to Whyalla.
Hi, Whyala's fishing report this week. A few snapper been coming from the Rip and also the southern grounds of Whyalla, especially in the deeper water. The 20 to 25 metre watermark has been the best over the slower tides. This week we got some fresher tides, so best to fish those deeper areas on the turn. Some nice King George whiting coming from the Mount Young grounds. Really good numbers too, guys. If you get down there, work across the sand patches, you pick up a good feed. Also some good numbers of squid starting to show up. They still are a little timid in taking the jigs, but some good squid down there. Land-based around Whyalla, a few nice sized garfish down towards the Point Lowly area around the lighthouse, and a few small schools of salmon starting to show up in the same grounds.
Stay with us after the break. Amy will join us with the weather, and Amy, the cool change has finally arrived here.
That's right, Fraser. Temperatures were considerably cooler than in recent days. However, some cloudy skies are set to appear over the weekend, and I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. It was a cooler day around all centres. Port Augusta reached 27, while Port Pirie and Whyalla saw tops of 25. Broken Hill continued to be slightly warmer, a maximum of 33 there. However, it was a mostly sunny day around the region, with temperatures in the low to mid-20s elsewhere. Checking the satellite now, and some showers are expected in the north and south. It will continue to stay dry elsewhere, which has resulted in hot and gusty winds, which has raised dust and fire danger warnings. If you're kickstarting your weekend on the waters tomorrow, there will be strong westerly winds up to 30 knots. Seas will reach 1 metre and the sun will be rising at 39 past 6. The return to the more autumn-like temperatures continue tomorrow. Port Augusta can expect 28, as can Whyalla. Cooler in Port Lincoln with a forecasted 24, while it will be a wet and windy 20 in Coffin Bay. Broken Hill will remain warmer with a top of 30. However, temperatures will sit in the 20s in all other districts. As Port Lincoln gets ready for the weekend, the cool change is set to bring some showers and cloudy skies over the weekend and into the start of next week, with tops of 23. Conditions in Cleve will fine up over Saturday and Sunday before a cloudy 22 on Monday. Meanwhile, Woodna can expect the cloudy skies to stick around, with temperatures remaining in the low 20s for the next few days. A mostly sunny weekend ahead in Whyalla, with temperatures reaching 24 on Monday. Port Augusta will also experience a run of fine weather, with maximums sitting in the mid-20s. Unfortunately, it will be a rainy weekend in Kadina, with predicted showers and some thunderstorms, with expected tops of 23 on Sunday before reaching 24 on Monday. Good news in Port Perry with the sun forecasted to hang around this weekend, although it will have cooler temperatures. Clare will see some showers and a top of 21 on Monday. Meanwhile, it is set to cool down quite a bit in Broken Hill after some extreme heat. The sunny days will continue, however temperatures are expected to stay in the mid-20s as we enter the new working week. So Fraser, while the cooler weather is going to hang around, unfortunately not all of the Spencer Golf will be able to enjoy the sunshine this weekend.
Still a welcome change from the very hot weather. Thank you, Amy. And that's all from us tonight. I will have some updates later though. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.